Physical games versus digital games, the debate that has no end, the argument that lasts forever. There are some benefits to having physical games and digital games. I mean, for one, you can't hold digital.
Buying games today has never been more easier, yet so difficult at the same time. Sure, some of the game stores are not exactly on good terms with gamers. It's always been a tough battle since they started the whole program of digital games of which one would you want to buy. Now, of course, physical games are just something special. I mean, you actually have the game right here in your hand. Pop it in, get in the game and play. You don't need an internet connection. You don't need a license. You don't have to worry about it getting revoked from your own account. It is yours, and they can't do a single thing about it. So instead, you thought about buying a digital game on PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, or even Steam if you want to. So you might be thinking, it's just this console. I'll never do anything to upgrade, change consoles, change my username, buy the disc and the digital version. It's always been a tough decision between which one I should buy. I can't really blame you for choosing either side. I mean, each side has their benefits. On one hand, digital seems like the better idea because it's easily accessible. All you have to do is just pick up your controller and start the game. That's it. You don't have to constrain to the restrictions of having only one copy of the game. You have it digitally. You can play it on multiple consoles at once if you want to. But on the other hand, physical seems like a good idea because you don't need internet at all to play the game. You can just pop the game in and just play it right then and there. You actually own the game. And plus, you don't even have to buy a brand new like digital. You can buy the game at a secondhand store for basically nothing and still get away with it.
Oh hey, I found this game at the game store. Oh, come on.
But unfortunately, that does happen sometimes. You go to the game store, you don't exactly remember what you had at home. So you get the game thinking you don't have it at home already, when in all reality, you do. And also, when you buy pre-owned from a secondhand store or something, you also have the chance of not having the original artwork. I mean, sure, it still tells you on what the game is on your shelf, but it's still annoying. I have a few games that just does not have the artwork, but does have the original casing. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was one of them. I got this game at GameStop pre-owned, and it just had the casing in the game itself, not the artwork. I tried to do my best on printing out an artwork cover for it, but I mean, nothing beats the original cover. Sometimes it makes sense for the entire case to be lost. You just have the disc itself. But sometimes I just wonder, why? With each strong point each one has, there's also downsides to them too. I mean, sure, digital games are more convenient. They save space on your shelf. You can open the same game on multiple consoles if you wanted to. But there's a caveat with that. You need an internet connection in order to do this at all. The game don't magically appear on your console after you pay for it with cash in the mail. You can't do any of that. You have to have an account with that storefront, put funds on it if you want to, and depending on your internet speed, it can even take longer than the disc copying over. And sometimes playing the game without any updates can provide a better experience than the game with the updates. But of course, physical games have their downside too. Don't act like there's nothing wrong with physical games. I'm an advocate for physical games just as much as the next person, but they can take a lot of space. They can be a pain when trying to play a multiplayer on a LAN party. And plus, if you want to switch a game out and you got all physical games and you're wasting game time by getting up, taking the disc out, putting it back in the case, put it on the shelf, grab the new one off the shelf, put it in the game console, then sitting down and then opening it. Hopefully you got that game installed on there. So yeah, I'm not going to hide it from you. Each side has their own issues. But sometimes when choosing between digital and physical games, physical can sometimes provide better results just because of the artwork alone. Sure, the instruction manual has gone to basically nothing or the back of the game cover over the years, but sometimes some of the game artwork on the front and back can be pretty amazing. Some of the best art you've ever seen. And sometimes game cases have reversible covers on them that has even better artwork on the back. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm not going to hide anything. They both have their own issues. When digital games first came out, it was more of, I mean, you can do this one, but I know you're just going to do it the other way anyways. And it was really no big deal. Each game console that was out at the time came with a disc drive in it or some sort of cartridge slot for you to put physical games in. No problem. But the more and more time that has gone on, each console manufacturer has experimented with some idea of a digital-only console. The Xbox One S all digital, the PlayStation 5 digital edition. It kind of makes us wonder what's going to happen to physical games.
Well, thank you, random person, for asking the question. What about games that are only digital? Well, let me give you this pointer. What is this?
Sure, there are quite a bit of physical options that you can get for PC. I actually have a PC game physically, it's Doom. But what is this? It's a code inside the game. What is it for? To make it digital. Well, that's okay, you may be thinking. You just got the disc itself. You could just install the game right there. But remember this, that's 1/10 of the game.
Doom game is 80 gigabytes in file size.
What is this install? 8 gigabytes! So you need an internet connection anyways to redeem the code and download the rest of the game. And you need a disk drive, because most gaming PCs nowadays don't even have a disk drive built in. But what makes it even worse about the digital code is that you can't buy these from secondhand stores. You have to buy them physically brand new or get it just digitally. Why is there even physical PC games you have to redeem them an account? If they're so worried about anti-piracy with the code and all that stuff tying it to a one account, why not just do what old PC games did and just required you to have the disc in when you play? And you're probably saying, well, that's impossible because there's 7 install discs for GTA 5. Well, guess what? Red Dead Redemption 2 has 2 discs. Install and play disc. It's not the fact that physical games are obsolete on PC. PC games are making themselves obsolete on physical games.
So basically what that means is that you're stuck if you want to play PC games, because you can't buy them from a secondhand store. You just gotta wait for a sale on the Steam store or buy it at full price. There's gotta be better options for physical games.
Okay, I'm done. I want to move on now. But with digital games, you also have to worry about storefronts closing down. If you really want to buy Splatoon for the Wii U digitally now, guess what? Good luck. That's where physical games come in handy. Getting this game at a secondhand store is probably the best thing you can do right now because, oopsie, of course you can find deals sometimes on digital storefronts, but they're going to be few and far between. And another thing about digital games too is delistings. Man, they are a pain. The worst one at this is EA themselves. Whenever a new sports game for the current year comes out, they delist the previous one and lock it behind the subscription. Well, guess what, EA? I have NHL 20 right here. Are you going to revoke this game for my household? Oh, I bet not. But at the end of the day, it's your decision if you want to go all digital or just get as much physical as possible. Each one can have their own ups and downs. I mean, sure, it's nice to see companies try to experiment with what they can do with their consoles, try to make them as cheap as possible. Look at the Series S.
But really, at the end of the day, it's all up to you if you want a physical game or a digital game. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what you want, but my opinion personally, probably physical games would be the best route to go because you actually have the game right here in your hand, and you don't need an internet connection. You don't have to worry about a digital storefront closing down over time, removing access from the game entirely. Digital games, sure, you can't play those forever because of licensing issues and all that fun legal stuff, but physical games you actually have. They can't do anything about it if they don't want you to play the game anymore because you actually have it in your household. Yeah, that's right.